Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra rumors are beginning to surface, even though the Galaxy S23 Ultra is still a newcomer to the best phones list. But phone makers are always looking ahead to their next device, and that means work on next year's model is already well underway. As a result, expect a steady stream of Galaxy S24 Ultra leaks over the next several months, with the pace picking up the closer we get to the phone's expected launch in early 2024. Even though that's still a ways off, there's enough information out there to give us a broad outline of what Samsung may be planning for its next flagship phone. Drawing on some early S24 leaks along with rumors specific to the Ultra model, here's what we've heard so far about the S24 Ultra, along with what we hope to see from Samsung's premium handset. With Samsung introducing the Ultra's design across the S23 lineup this year, and even making its lower-cost Galaxy of phones look a lot like the Ultra, we wouldn't expect a radical design change for the S24 Ultra. Samsung clearly likes the look of having a row of camera lenses descending vertically down the back of its phones and is likely to stick with that approach. Likewise, the last few Ultra models have featured a 6.8-inch panel, one of the largest screens you can get on a phone that doesn't fold. We expect Samsung to stick with that 6.8-inch display for the S24 Ultra. The biggest display change could be to its refresh rate. Since the S20 Ultra, that giant display has been capable of a 120Hz refresh rate. More recent models have been able to scale down to 1 Hz when the activity on screen is more static. The S24 Ultra could mix that up by increasing its maximum refresh rate to 144 Hz. That claim comes from the Samlover Rumors site in a post containing several supposed details about next year's top Samsung phone. There are other devices out there with a 144 Hz displays, though most of them are gaming phones. Given that Samsung likes to tout the gaming capabilities of its Ultra model, the fast processor, the big display, the internal cooling system designed to cut down on performance lags, it's not that big a stretch to imagine the S24 Ultra adopting this particular feature. Samsung's big camera change to the Ultra model happened this past year when the S22 Ultra's 108 megapixels main sensor made way for a 200 megapixel shooter. We wouldn't expect another big leap forward, though Samlover does claim that Samsung will make some improvements to the sensor. This could mean anything from a wider aperture to let in more light to improvements in color reproduction. The site later claimed that the sensor size would be increased to 1 inch, which would be the same as the Xiaomi 13 Ultra and larger than the one rumored for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Another Samlover tip involves the telephoto lens on the Galaxy S24 Ultra, which is supposed to get improved zooming capabilities. The S23 Ultra's camera setup includes a pair of telephoto cameras, one with a 3x optical zoom and the other with a 10x zoom, which can combine for a 100x space zoom feature. You'd think that improved zooming would mean we'll be able to get even closer to subjects, though we'll need to hear more details before we can be more certain. A separate leak from the tipster tech review says that the S24 Ultra will feature a new 3 to 10x variable folded telephoto lens. This would replace the dedicated 3x and 10x lenses on the S23 Ultra. The new lens would use a periscope design and have the ability to change the focal length while connecting to a single sensor. The S23 Ultra introduced a new front camera, so we'd only expect some fine-tuning there if Samsung's planning any changes at all. That leaves just the 12 megapixels ultra-wide lens on the back of the phone as a possible area of improvement. It's not going out on a limb to claim that whatever Qualcomm's top silicon is at this time next year, it'll be in the S24 Ultra. The S23 lineup was entirely powered by Qualcomm chipsets, after years of Samsung also including its own Exynos chips in some models. Samsung had been rumored to be sticking with the all-Qualcomm approach for next year's S24 phones, though some now argue that Samsung will return to using Exynos chips in some models of its next flagship, including me. While that would be worrisome in the past, Exynos chips haven't always performed as well as their Snapdragon counterparts. Samsung may be working to improve its silicon. Leak Exynos 2400 benchmarks have that chip posting better multi-core results on Geekbench than we've seen from Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and a 16 Bionic devices. The Exynos 2400 would be the chipset Samsung might use in lieu of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is likely to debut by the end of the year. Another rumor points to a possible RAM upgrade. Leaker Torn Vats on Twitter claims that the S24 Ultra could come with as much as 16 gigs of RAM, which would be a major upgrade from the 8 or 12 gigs options on the S23 Ultra. Another leaker, TechRev, has also corroborated this rumor. Meanwhile, other sources have said all S24 models could start with 256 gigs storage. This won't be an upgrade as the S23 Ultra already gets a 256 gigs default capacity, but it's good to hear we won't be going backwards next year. One rumored S23 feature that never appeared in this year's phones was satellite connectivity. Sam Lover expects that to change with the S24 Ultra, which would allow that phone to match an iPhone 14 feature that allows people to send emergency messages even without cellular connectivity. It's unclear if that would be an ultra-specific feature or whether Samsung would follow Apple's lead and make satellite connectivity a capability for all of its flagship models. Given how thin S24 Ultra rumors are at this point, that leaves an awful lot of room for us to fill in the blanks with features we hope to see. After all, as capable a phone as the S23 Ultra may be, there are still some areas that Samsung could stand to improve, like S Pen capabilities and a faster charging support, like various other brands have already in the market. So, what are your expectations from Samsung's upcoming flagship lineup? Let us know it down below in the comment section, and if you enjoyed the video, then a sub to the channel will be massive, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you for the next time. Peace out.